Okay, looks like we're live everywhere.
Hey,
Welcome back to episode 272 of the Guy and Guns podcast. I'm your host, Troy.
and I'm your other host, Doug.
We use this podcast to talk about guns and the responsible Christian gun owners' interests. On this episode, we'll be talking about, are you ready to stand?
Ready to stand.
We'll get into that in just a moment. We want to thank our bandwidth sponsors, Firearms Radio Network. We thank them for putting all that information out there for you guys to download and watch and see at your at your leisure. If you've not checked out other shows at the Firearms Radio Network, please do. And also want to thank Oathkeepers TV, Oathkeepers for broadcasting our shows over there as well. If you've not checked out Oathkeepers, please do. We'll be talking a little bit more about those guys here in just a little bit. So you got the next couple.
Yeah, we will. Also, Crossbreed Holsters. You know, Troy and I both carrying Crossbreeds. Most comfortable holster you're ever going to get. If you're carrying a gun in your vehicle, on your person, or got one next to the bed, Crossbreed makes a holster for you. Go check our buddies out, crossbreedholsters.com. Carry the cross. Also, PowerTac lights. Hey, PowerTac, you've seen the demos that I've sent out. You've heard me talk about it. You heard Troy talk about how bright these things are. Great lights, and they give you as our listeners a great deal on their lights. If you find something you like, you can use our promo code God and Guns on there, and they will give you 40% off of whatever you have in your shopping cart. The only thing it does not apply to is something that's already on sale. So if you get 50% off, they're not going to let you tack 40 more on. But if it's not on sale and you want one, you need one, and you like it, go ahead and get it. Get that 40% off. But check our buddies out, powertac.com.
At that kind of discount, they can get 2 or 3, maybe 4, you know.
Oh, yeah.
Gifts.
I missed out. They actually had, for the 4th of July, they actually had the Warrior, which is a really bright light. They had it on sale. And they also had the M6s on sale. I think it was $79. Buy one and get a second one free, kind of like they did for Memorial Day.
Yeah.
But, you know, I got one, but I did it the day before the actual sale started, so I didn't get the 2 for 1. But I did get our discount, so I got it for 30 some bucks.
But about the same way.
Yeah. So I think for Christmas this year, I think I know a lot of people are going to get PowerTac lights.
This week's Guy and Gun activities, Doug. But what have you been up to since we last spoke?
Let's see. I have been doing my Sportsman's Daily Devotional every day. Also been doing the devotional. We have one of the pastors from a local church, Southside Baptist Church, sends out a devotional at work. Has been doing that for quite some time. So I read those when those come out every week too. I didn't get to make it to church on Sunday of this week. I was helping my daughter do some moving. She actually sold her house, which I am in the process of doing myself, of selling my house, my other house, and I'm hoping we close this week, but we shall see. I got a couple things that they asked me to do, and so I'm going to try to knock that out real quick and get it done. But anyway, we're going to do that. Of course, been everyday carries. Man, it's been a rough week and a half for me. Talked on our last show last week about a friend of mine, Chris King, who got killed in a boating accident not this Wednesday, but the Wednesday before last, up at a local lake fishing a tournament, got broadsided on the boat, and he was in the passenger seat, and he lost his life, and they had his funeral this week. And then found out Monday or maybe Tuesday, I can't remember, but another friend of mine that when I worked at the school system, Thomas Moore, he was a principal at one of our schools, and I've known him for a long time, and just a real solid, real good guy. I mean, just happy all the time. You know, one of those kind of guys, and everybody called him Big because he was a real tall guy. But he passed away this past weekend from COVID. He got COVID and got really sick with it, and he lost a battle with it. So,
wow.
So it's been kind of a rough week and a half.
It sounds like it. Yeah, we've had. Go ahead.
I was going to say, I haven't done a lot in guns this week. I did make it down to my local gun store this week because I was just pilling around. And of course, I found one that I liked, and I've been looking for one. I'm looking for a 44 Magnum, and they had a 44 mag Ruger Blackhawk single action. Had 6.5 inch barrel on it. I think it
Yeah.
was 6.5. I think it was a 6.5 inch. But it was a stainless, had the wood grip and stuff on it. Used because I buy a lot of used stuff that people pawn and sell and stuff.
Mhm.
But man, not a scratch on it. Looked good, and I'm still not too sure that I'm not going to go back and put it on layaway. But I didn't. I refrained, and well, if I come back down there this week and it's still there, maybe I will. So give myself the opportunity for somebody else to buy it. But dude, I tell you what, man, going in the gun store this week, they usually have anything and everything you want. They have racks that go down. They got a gun cabinet with the newer guns, pistols and stuff like that behind it. They got all the shotguns, rifles, ARs, pretty much anything you want. And then down the front of that, they have stand-up racks. They have a shotgun one on both sides that people trade in or pawn or whatever. Then they got rifles. Then they got an AR one. Dude, there is hardly anything on the shelves, man. They have sold everything. It's ridiculous.
Wow. That's pretty much. I know that everywhere I'm looking for things that it's out of stock. I mean, any kind of reloading stuff that's in the common 223, 556, 308. There's some 308, but not a whole lot. It's just the high end stuff. Ammo. You see the real cheap 9mm or the green tip 556 occasionally, but it's like 25, 30% higher than it used to be. And I just AR bolts. I mean, a bolt carrier group and some things. I get some projects. It's hard to find. I have found a few primers. I found some when they come in stock. I put notifications out like 6 or 7 different sites, and so when primers pop up and say they're in stock, I always try to jump on them and get them quick because they don't last very long.
No, they don't. And to me, it's just amazing how much stuff is gone that you can't even get. And then the other thing that's crazy to me is like if you go out on Palmetto State Armory and look at their daily deals and stuff, man, what, 6 months ago, maybe 7 months ago, somewhere in that area, 6 or 7 months ago, on their daily deals, you could buy a Smith & Wesson Shield for $249.
Oh yeah,
And I
I'm down
think
to $199 there
yeah,
one time.
$199 with the rebate they had on it.
Yeah.
Now you can't touch one. They had them on the for sale on the daily deals this week, I think. Well, I had it on there about every week, but it's like $359 or something.
Wow. Well, yeah, I know it's crazy. People have been asking, what kind of gun should I get? And I was like, well, you go over to Palmetto State. They got those Smith & Wesson Shields. They're cheap, and they're like, no, man, they ain't got none. Like, what?
They ain't got none.
They ain't got none. I'm like, wow, what happened to them? Oh man, it's been a little bit crazy. We go through this every little bit. It seems like every time a certain politician looks like they might win, we have this big rush and clean everything out. But I think the way things are going, we might be looking at this kind of situation all the way into election day.
Oh yeah. Oh, 100%. I think it's going to get even worse. I think as the country gets even more and more crazy, people are going to be buying more and more guns, and they're going to stock up. My son-in-law was looking. He was over here the other night. Him and my daughter, they came over for dinner, and I was on the Blackstone outside, and I was cooking, which it was hot. It's almost too hot to be Blackstoning, but hey, hey, whatever, it worked. It goes fast, so it's not too bad.
Yeah.
But anyway, he was looking, trying to find some ammo. He was trying to find some 223 or 556, and he said, "Hey man, this place has got it in stock." I'm like, "Oh yeah, how much?" And he gassed it up, and I'm like, "Dude, that's 50 cents a round." I'm like,
Yeah.
I ain't buying that. Ain't no way.
Well, I saw a deal on DeVore. It's been like 6 weeks ago. They had 500 round cases, or not cases. They're like the containers of once fired 556 and once fired 308 brass, and it was like, I forget. It ended up like 9 cents a piece of brass for one and like 11 cents for the other, and then you couldn't find it anywhere. It was hard to find brass around here anywhere, and so I thought, well, I'll go ahead and get some. So I ordered 2 of each. They're 500 round containers, and nothing. I didn't hear nothing from them. I heard I say I bought it, but I heard nothing back from them. And I texted or emailed them. I'm like, hey, what's going on with this order? Oh, we're still trying to source it. We're still trying to source it. And I'm like, what? How can you sell something you don't have? And it's like,
right.
they said, we're going to have it soon. And they're like, okay. And so then I get an email on Saturday. We shipped it, and it came in. It came in, but it was only half the order. The other half the order didn't even show up. And so, but I mean, I got 1,000 rounds of 308. Well, 500 rounds of 308 and 500 rounds of 5.56 to reload. And I've got bullets and I've got powder. I've been buying powder long before this last thing came through. And I've got a lot of primers. I was lucky that I decided to go ahead and purchase a bunch. And then I found a little hidey hole of a guy that doesn't really promote his stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I cleaned out all his AR primers or all the 5.56 primers, the hardened ones that are a little bit more robust, the CCI 41s, and then I bought out. He had quite a bit of some AR comp and some what was the other powder? Oh, there's another AR powder, so it was good powder to load. So I'm pretty set for 5.56 for a while. So I'm cranking on those. And well, is that all your stuff? Let me take over. Did you get through all yours?
Let's see. I think
No, yeah.
I am headed to Savannah tomorrow night after work for just a short trip. Not spending too much time, but I'm going down with a buddy of mine down to the club dinner. The cameras are killing us. He's got like, I don't know, 6 or 7 of those 5-point cameras out. So every night they're sending us pictures, so we know when the pigs are there. So I think we're going to ride down and put a couple cameras out and bait up some spots, and we're going to hunt for a little while, maybe take a nap, and then ride on home Saturday morning sometime and get back. But it'll be a good trip. Also, I had a couple friends this week hit me up asking, of all things, if I knew of a good holster that they could carry in, because they want to start. They got their concealed carry permits. They want to start carrying.
Yep.
And lo and behold, who do you think I sent them to? Crossbreed Holsters. Absolutely.
There you go.
So I know 2 of them already have bought theirs, and I sent somebody here recently one, or they sent them to Crossbreed. They got one. They messaged me telling me how good they thought it was.
I reached out to Nathan and Murray today to see when they can come back on the show, and apparently they're selling a lot of holsters because they couldn't even answer the phone. They were so busy. So we'll see. They're probably making holsters around the clock down there right now. I bet it's hot out in South Missouri right now.
Oh, it's probably muggy too. Hey, so over on Facebook, Jeff hit us up and he said, "Good evening." He said, "I hear Kentucky governor is forcing getting masked up starting tomorrow."
Yeah, how about that? Isn't that fun? When I think about that governor, I told Chris, I said, I guess they're going to throw me in jail. I don't know. I don't know that I'm going to be going wearing a mask anywhere because
I don't.
I'm not going anywhere until we find out about what gunners are going on, but we don't really need to go anywhere. We've been stocked up for a while. So that's just the way it goes. When you get elected Democrat, that's what you get, oppression and lawlessness and making stuff up out of thin air. So there's that.
Yeah, I heard your governor paid $60,000 or $65,000 to get a statue moved out of the Capitol. They just moved it outside, and they still haven't moved it to where they were going with it.
Well, they're hoping somebody will come up there and deface it, I guess.
Steal it.
Yeah, haul it off for scrap. Yeah, we've got some real doozy up there now. Real doozy. All right.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I'm gonna try. I'm gonna try not to get. Don't y'all get me all upset and spitting and before we even get started tonight. Let's see. On the God side, of course, the daily Bible reading. I do a lot of reading. We do our weekly, our weekday prayer and fasting show. Well, I haven't been bringing up fasting much lately. I still have been fasting 2 days a week, and but I don't talk about it a lot because I keep getting flack from people at church that you're not supposed to be talking about that. Well, I'm just trying to encourage people to fast. I'm not trying to brag about anything. But if I fall out, it is because I am fasting. I'm trying to put on. I wash my face, as the scripture said, and I'm putting on a smile. But I'm a little bit on the weak side. I got this morning, got in the heat. It got hot before I knew it. Over messing with the cows and fixing barn doors, and they knocked their water trough over, and I don't know what's wrong. They get just mad every once in a while, and so I moved them from the upper pasture down and opened up the lower pasture for them because we had a whole bunch of clover in the upper pasture that was getting ready to go bad. It was getting ready to seed out and all, and so I put them in there, and they ate that down, fattened up pretty good for the last about 2 weeks, and I dropped them back down the lower pasture this morning. But boy, I got hot out there and sweating, and it was old for old guys, man. I tell you that heat ain't no fun.
Mm-mm.
But that just sort of slowed me down a little bit today. I came in and worked on some stuff here. I picked up a let's see. I finish up God stuff. Yeah, we've been doing the prayer and sort of like a devotional every morning. And let's see, how many weeks is it? I just finished the 59th episode. And so that's what 59. So we're finishing our 12th week of doing that. We have people come and people go. Some are holding steady. Stephen there, he in comments. He's been there most mornings. So, but it seems to be growing quite a bit, and we just have a little bit of prayer, and we have a little short devotional, and I try to keep it 15, 20 minutes max, and get in and out of there. But I get chasing squirrels sometimes and can't get free.
Right.
On the gun side, of course, everyday carry. And around the farm, I carry a little AR pistol slung most of the time, where I have it right there in the pickup truck with me. And then, of course, I carry the Glock 30S. I've been working on a new rig for appendix because I'm able to wear appendix holsters now, and the gun don't pooch out with a good loose shirt over top of it. And so I thought, well, I'm gonna try out this appendix carry, and so I've got this monster or hybrid of a Glock 19 variant made from different parts of dead Glocks around here, and putting a good trigger in it, and then I've just got to get a good appendix holster. I don't have the only one I have from Crossbreed is for the Springfield XDS. And so I'm going to need to get with Murray and Nathan and see if they can set me up one for a RMR mounted with a light, and see if they got one that's got a mag carrier up front, so I can have one mag right up there up front. And you start trying that out because I'm getting all this fasting has helped me lose weight. I keep losing a little bit more each week. I'll lose on the days that I'm fasting, and then I'll go back up a little bit, and I'll lose again on the day I'm fasting. It's just sort of like this slow drip down, and so my stomach is going away, which is nice, but everything don't melt at the same rate. I don't know. I don't know what that. I guess it took that many years to put it on. It might take several years to get it off. I don't know. We'll keep plugging away at it, but it is coming off, so that's a good thing. EDC check. I'm carrying, of course, Glock 30S and my Super Tuck, and all the usual suspects are in the notes. If you guys are curious about that, all you regulars know what I'm carrying most of the time. But what are you carrying tonight?
Oh, I got the usual suspect too, man. Can't go wrong. Glock 19. This is a Gen 4. It's got my student of the gun night vision sight on it, and works really good. And I don't have Puff out here with me tonight. Puff goes everywhere I go here lately. So,
Yeah. If you don't have a truck gun at this point, you better find something to make it a truck gun.
Yep. I don't. It's like an American Express card, man. I don't leave home without it.
Yeah. And for a truck gun, you need something you can swing around the cab. You don't get caught on the mirror and the seat belts and the headrest and all that stuff. You need something, a somewhat shorter barrel. That's why I went with AR pistol, because I could swing them around and I could hit pretty much any window if I have to. But I'm not planning on staying in there. If it comes to a gunfight, I'm going to be outside the vehicle,
Right.
charging, and not be sitting inside of a cabbed vehicle. But I don't know. People going crazy. People are attacking cars like they think they're going to be able to take them out. People, I guess they're hoping people will just sit there and take it. But somebody attacks my car, I'm going to attack back.
Yeah. I learned a long time ago to stay out of the road, and people have a tendency to get run over when they're out there, and I don't want to be out there. And it's an M1 carbine. That'd be a good one.
Yeah,
I'd make a nice little truck gun.
Yeah, I keep a set of ear pros right there in my console. So if I got a rock and roll, if I've got an opportunity to put on the ear pro, I'm going to, because if you shoot off that rifle inside of a cab, not only all the windows are going to blow out, but you're going to lose your eardrums forever. They're going to be gone.
Hey, you see people riding down the road, got their COVID mask on, nobody in the vehicle. You see me and Troy riding around, we got ear protection already on.
We're ready to go.
Ready to go.
Yeah. Hopefully they don't get any video of us before we have to rock and roll. But no, I mean, that's the times we're in right now. It's people have lost their minds, going out the road trying to beat people up in their own car.
Andy over on YouTube, he knows what's wrong with your cows. He said they might be liberal cows. You might have got some from the wrong herd.
Oh no, these are good conservative cows. They only move when they're hungry. Oh well, all right. So looks like we're down to the joke of the week. Lame joke of the week.
Lame joke of the week. And guess what we got?
A blonde joke.
A blonde joke. Is Krista still blonde?
No, she ain't been to the hairstylist for a while. We can't talk much about that because I might end up on the couch or out in the doghouse. And since we don't have a doghouse, it might be bad.
I'm going to stay with the theme just in case she makes it out to the hairdresser. So, the blonde joke. We don't sell to blondes. So, a blonde goes into an electronics store and asks, "How much is this TV?" Salesman says, "Sorry, we don't sell to blondes." So, she goes home, she dyes her hair, she comes back as a brunette. She said, "How much is this TV?" Again, the salesman tells her, "I'm sorry, man, but we don't sell to blondes." Weeks later, she goes in as a redhead. But again, he announces to her, "I'm sorry, but we don't sell to blondes." Finally, she said, "My hair is red. How do you know that I was really a blonde?" Salesman says, "Because that's not a TV, it's a microwave." Sorry, Krista.
Having known women over the period of my life, when they change colors of hair that much, it goes to a green.
You got the pool.
You start changing colors that much and bleaching and stuff, something's going to turn green.
Right.
You gotta know, with all them daughters and your wife there, you should know what color hair changes.
Oh yeah.
All right.
You see what I've been taking mine down to. Mine's kind of. I left my hat in the house tonight. I wasn't paying no attention. Got out here and put my headphones on and started talking to you before the show, and I forgot to grab a hat.
Yeah, I've had a couple of mornings that I forgot to put a hat on the prayer time, and so far nobody has made fun of my balding head. I guess they knew what happened with Elisha when they freaked out, throw a curse on him. Some bears would come out and eat him up.
Well, it's like I tell everybody, I'd rather mine turn gray than turn loose.
Yeah, I'd rather have gray hair than less. But
Yeah, I was expecting it, but I think my brother got a little bit of my dad's because, Dad had a pretty good sized swimming pool in the back of his head,
uh,
you know, but he wasn't bald by no means, but
I,
he had a spot back there.
I had a helipad. You could land a helicopter on, but then it turned into a runway. So
There you go.
a little bit of grass on the pavement, but other than that, that's about what's left. All right, so our Bible verses tonight come from Psalms 127. Let me pop that where you guys can see it, because I might not read it right. Unless the Lord builds the house, those who build it labor in vain. Let me start over because my tongue is not connected to my brain. Unless the Lord builds the house, those who build it labor in vain. Unless the Lord watches over the city, the watchman stays awake in vain. It is in vain that you rise up early and go late to rest, eating the bread of anxious toil. Scrolling. For he gives to his beloved sheep. Behold, children are a heritage from the Lord, and the fruit of the womb is a reward. Like arrows in the hand of the warrior are the children of one's youth. Blessed is the man who fills his quiver with them. He shall not be put to shame when he speaks with his enemies in the gate. So, that verse probably could have been broken up into two, but what I wanted to focus on here tonight, I got stuff popping up everywhere here, is that we don't need to be worried right now. Doug and I were talking before the show. God's in control, in that no matter how much preparations we put in, no matter how much labor we throw into something to try to defend something, no matter how, if we stayed up 24 hours a day looking out for problems to happen, you're just wasting your time, because the Lord is in control. And nobody can hurt you until God says it's time. And if you're to be martyred, then you'll be martyred because it glorifies God. If you are going to be overrun or whatever, it's going to be because that it's that time. And so as believers, we have to trust that God loves his children. He's going to provide for us. He's going to protect us. He's going to watch over us. And we just have to make sure that we're being honoring of God. And it is important that you prepare. It is important that you make provisions. It's important that you network with other believers and other people that you trust to help, defend if you should need their help and things like that. But at the end of the day, you have to depend that God is in control. God is going to be able to defend you, and that this life is not what we're here for. We're not here for the terrestrial, right? We're here as aliens in this world, because once we've died to our old body, we're just dragging the old body around until it gives up, right? And it no longer can go on. And then we are free to be with God. And so don't lose hope because of the way this world is, because this world is going to be burned up and everything in it will be judged. And so let's focus on what is eternal. So the most important thing in your preps is to make sure that you are saved, right? The first thing you need to make sure that you got a ticket, that you understand that you only have one hope, and that hope is in Jesus. It's nothing else. There's nothing else that can give you that safety, that protection, the eternal protection. And so it's important that we make sure we keep our focus on the eternal while we deal with the terrestrial, the here and now. And understand that let's don't put so much emphasis into trying to keep alive this dead body. If we're believers, we've died to ourselves. We were reborn in Christ, and we have to fight the flesh that we are inhabiting until we are taken home or until we pass away. And so that's just my encouragement tonight. As bad as things look, it's already been judged. We already know who wins. We already know what the outcome is going to be. If you don't, just read Revelation and you'll find out how it all ends. You can go straight to Revelation, and some of it's a little bit difficult to mete out, to understand, so you have to dig in it a little bit. But we know that Jesus won at the cross, and so did we if we follow him. All right, so that's the Bible verses for the night. Our main topic. I'm closing out some things here so I can see my screen. Okay. I've got all these windows on this other screen over here, and it's sort of confusing. Our main topic. So there has been a call. Stuart Rhodes called or texted me. No, he called Sunday night and put me on a conference call. Stuart Rhodes is the president and founder of Oath Keepers.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you don't know anything about Oath Keepers, go to oathkeepers and .org and find out. It's all there. We got links in our show notes. You can find out about Oath Keepers. But if you're not prepared, if your community is not prepared to deal with the influx of communists coming in and trying to burn down things, rob and steal and loot and cause death and destruction in your community, you might want to get with some like-minded individuals that have some skills or can learn some skills so that you can help defend your neighborhood, so you can help defend your city or your town or your community. And at worst, just make sure you defend your own family. There are training tools and things over at Oath Keepers, and there are people over there that can come in and train you if you have a group together. There is literature on it. There's videos on it. They've got and they will plug you in with people who can get you up and trained so that you're able to be that militia in your neighborhood. The reason the militias were founded was because there wasn't a police department in the Constitution.
Mm-hmm.
And the military were forbidden from coming into your community and running the place because that's what the British did. That's why they kicked them out, right? Because the military were coming in and living in their houses, eating their food, and telling them what to do. And the people who wrote the Constitution were like, no, we ain't gonna have that no more. So they made sure that wasn't something that could happen.
And we kind of talked about that last week's show since it was the 4th of July.
Yeah. And so the reason that you want local police is because they're your neighbors. They're the people you can talk to at the grocery store, to church, and places like that. You don't want federalized police coming in. We talked about that last week. But you, as a citizen under the Constitution, are given the right to bear arms for the express purpose of defending your communities. And this is a situation where you need to be able to do that. And if you don't have the skills to do that, you need to find people who can give you the skills to do that. And Oath Keepers is trying to do everything they can to help people raise up county posses, working with their sheriff's department, because your sheriff's elected official. He's not someone that's appointed by a politician. Right. The sheriff is an elected person. He is someone who works for the people directly. And if you have a bad sheriff, you can vote him out. You bring in somebody that defends you and your community. It's not like a police department who's appointed by a mayor and can decide to withdraw their protection from you for political purposes. So that's why we were granted under the Constitution, under the Bill of Rights, under the Second Amendment, the rights to be able to have and bear arms. Primarily, it was to defend against tyranny, defend against foreign enemies and domestic enemies, which we've now seen promulgated all across the news. People going in and knocking people out and going in and breaking into cars, burning up stuff, breaking into people's houses, businesses, and things like that. That's lawlessness. That's anarchy. And we have a provision in the Constitution through the Bill of Rights, through the Second Amendment, that allows us to be able to defend our communities. And so you can't do it by yourself. As a person who was a prepper and has been trying to prepare for myself for a long time for our family, I can't be awake 24 hours a day. And a family of 4 or 5 cannot be awake 24 hours a day. You have to be able to sleep and you have to be able to rest. And so if you have a community that is close to areas where these people are roaming out into the suburbs or out into the rural countryside, you want to have people you can call and say, hey man, something's going on. Can you come help? And so it's important that you link up with other individuals that you trust, that you would trust your family members to be at their homes and things like that. Get together, get some training, get some comms, because if the powers that be want to pull down the cell phone communications, you don't have a way to talk to each other. It could be as simple as some walkie-talkies that you could talk within a mile or two of each other, right? or you can go ahead and get your ham license like I've done, or you can go ahead and get other forms of communication, GMRS radios, whatever the case may be. Have some way to communicate with these people. There's all this information available for you over at oathkeepers.com, or they can put you in touch with people who can get you the training. A lot of these resources, it's common sense. You can figure it out for yourself. But as things keep progressing, I don't think it's going to get nicer between now and the election. And should Trump win again, even against the uphill battle of mail-in ballots, I think things probably might get worse afterwards. And you don't want federalized troops coming in and quelling the violence. You want local people standing up and running people out that are doing these kind of things. It costs you something to have freedom. Freedom isn't free, as Doug Wells knows. He served in the military, as people who have served in the military, served in law enforcement, first responders. You only have the freedom which you're willing to defend. If you're not willing to stand up for your community, and you're not willing to take a risk, and especially as a believer who's already got their salvation in check, if you're not willing to defend your community against people who are going to come in to kill, steal, destroy, rape, you are not a very nice person. I'm just going to say it like that, because you have to be willing to lay down your life. And Jesus said, "No greater love has a man that he lays down his life for his friend." Now, he was speaking of himself, but he's also speaking for us as believers, that we are to die to ourselves and we're to live for Christ. And to live for Christ is to be a image bearer of Christ. And to be that image bearer, you have to be willing to get up and stand in the gap, and be willing to keep the enemy at bay. Now, we know that God is in control. We know that at the end of the day, everything is going to be the way God has it, but we have to be willing to stand. We have to be willing to, when we don't feel like it, put on the rifle, go out and patrol the street to keep bad guys out. And it's just like the way it is in your home, that you wouldn't allow someone to come into your home. If you knew something was happening, you wouldn't allow that. Same with your community. And so if you see things going on in your community, you need to be able to convey that kind of information. That's one of the things that we talked about, Stuart, is that we need to have intel. When we see cars from out of state or out of our local area with a bunch of thuggish looking people in there wearing masks, take down the license plate number, watch where they're going, see what they're up to. Now, don't get involved. Don't try to go stop them or ask them what they're doing unless there's a bunch of you to be able to defend yourself. But gather intel. And so when you see stuff that looks strange, looks out of the ordinary, just like you would your home, you saw somebody parked it in your driveway or at your street, and they're just sitting there in the car looking around, they're up to no good.
Okay. Well, of course, they're not in there.
Yeah. And so you see things that look out of the ordinary, pay attention. You're going to have to step up. You're going to have to put your phones down. These things right here will get you killed.
Yeah.
They will get you killed. You will be looking at your phone and somebody will knock you in the back of the head and take whatever you got, including your life. When you're traveling out and walking, put them phones away. If you got to talk to somebody, get you a Bluetooth thing in your ear and have it in your pocket. Don't be holding it up to your head, blocking, a whole right side of your body, your left side of your body, wherever. You got to be on point, on guard. And if you and what Stuart told us the other night, he said, we want good, honest Americans who are patriotic to come in and join. And you don't have to join Oath Keepers, but you have to come in and pledge that you're going to, follow the Constitution, that you're going to take an oath to defend the Constitution. If you're willing to do that, you can come in. Like I'm part of the Kentucky page. It's Stephen that's on here. He's part of the Kentucky page. We're looking for patriotic people that want to come in and start setting up their own communities. Like I'm looking for people here in LaRue County, the county I live in here in Kentucky. And what I want to do is get us together, get a plan together, have some training, get people up and prepared for what needs to be done, what's going to have to be done. No, we're not a military unit. We don't pretend to be a military unit. We're not professionals. We're not basement ninjas or anything like that. We're just honest, hardworking, American loving, freedom loving people who want to make sure that people don't come and destroy our communities like we see on TV. These people have a goal, and that is to try to take as much ground as they can. They have plans to try to take over communities and cities and even states. We saw an interview where there was a bunch of people down in Stone Mountain, Georgia, was going to take over Texas or something. Um, there's some weird stuff going on right now, and you have to be aware of what's going on in your communities. You're going to have to keep your eyes open and prepare your families, prepare your communities. And I'm not doomsdayer. I mean, I think God's in control. I think a lot of this will just blow away. But in certain areas, if you live near a large metropolitan area, we are already seeing people come out and attack, subdivisions. People have nothing to do with any of this stuff, and threaten them and things like that. And so, what are you gonna do? Like that family there, and those two lawyers there in St. Louis, when people break down the gates and come into your private community, 300 plus, and are cussing you and your family and making threats. One guy with an AR and his wife that was really badly pointing gun at people, which could have got her killed. One guy stopped 300 and something people from taking his house down. Right? He wasn't trained. He wasn't gun ho. He wasn't wearing camo. He wasn't,
He was wearing pink.
military. He was wearing a pink whatever shirt and pants or whatever. But he stopped them. No one got killed. No one got shot, and everybody walked away. Right? That may not happen had he not had that gun. How would you like to be one person standing against that many people coming into your community? That's why you need to band together with your neighbors and with the people that you respect and you trust, and learn how to, be able to rally together and say, "Hey, man, we need you all to come over here. Somebody's coming up the street and they're setting dumpsters on fire and they're knocking out windows and stuff," and draw a line in the sand and be able to defend your communities. And that's just the message that Stuart was wanting to pass along. I'm not speaking for Stuart. I'm just saying these are the kind of things that he's been running around all over the country, wide open, trying to get as many people awakened to the situation that we could be in a civil war if the Democrats don't get what they want. And not all Democrats. It's not a political thing. It's an ideology. And you have people stealing, killing, destroying. Those are children of the devil. Those are the children of darkness. And we as believers have to be children of light. We want to love everybody. I don't want to have to shoot anyone. I don't want to even have to pull a gun out. But should they come to challenge you in your own community, come and try to take that which is not theirs, or try to hurt and harm people and try to intimidate you and create this terroristic type of situation, you gotta have a plan. You gotta have some training, and you gotta have people to back you up. Because when it's just you, or you and your wife, like that man there in St. Louis, whew, I mean, that was scary, man. That could have went bad quick. And if he had like 3 or 4 neighbors that had ARs that came over and stood there at the gate and backed them back out of the gate, think how much better off he would have been when he could have had some backup, right?
Well, that's just like during Ferguson, when all that was going on, Oath Keepers were prevalent up there. They were asked to come up there and protect what they had, a one city block, I think, that the store owners and stuff asked them to come up and help protect and secure. And not one thing got destroyed, not one thing got burned or anything else in that block, because people were willing to protect it and watch out for it. And, one thing I like about Oath Keepers is, most of the guys in there are prior military, law enforcement. And a lot of times the difference in them and the mobs out there, Oath Keepers and ex-military, and, I'm not just saying military or law enforcement, but people with that mindset have the ability to, I don't know, keep their composure a little bit better and not get roped into, a confrontation, so to speak. But they know if they do have to get into a confrontation, they're willing to go there if that's what they want to do.
Right.
But cooler heads usually prevail. and you don't have to get into it. That's what you're looking for every time.
Right. Yeah. If you're a person who loses their temper and would rather like punch somebody than let them sit there and cuss at you, you probably don't want to have a gun in your hand at that gate, right? You have to know yourself, and you have to be able to be in control of yourself. And there's nothing wrong. I mean, that's just some way some people are wired. You don't want to make a bad situation worse, so you want to give them every opportunity to stop what they're doing. But should the time be that it's time to fight, and the thing about the training, the thing about people that have been in the military, they'll know is like, okay, it's getting ready to go. We're going to have to act. And knowing when that time is. It's not when someone, starts screaming and hollering and spitting on you and all that stuff. It's when something physical, someone's in imminent danger of being killed, and you can see that the demeanor of the mob has changed. That's something that you just don't know naturally. I mean, you can read people somewhat, but when people start giving certain hand signals and gestures, Marines, they were trained for that kind of thing, to stand guard and people screaming and stuff. I don't know that I could even put up with some of the stuff I've seen that the military have to put up with. And the police, man, the composure the police have had through a lot of this stuff has been crazy, above and beyond what they've been name called and all. So, but it's not just Kentucky. It's Oath Keepers in all the states, and so look for the state you live in, Oath Keepers page. Get on there, get asked to join. Most of them will have some kind of questions you need to answer, so they can see what kind of person you are. Make sure you're not an Antifa type trying to gather intel. You want to make sure that you vet these people, that you look at their profiles, you look at their pictures, you look at what they support. If they've created a profile in the last 3 days, you're not going to let those kind of people in. Right. So if you got you just now created a profile and you're probably not going to get in, because we want to help the people who are going to be patriotic. They're going to love their country. They're going to defend their communities. They're going to be willing to stand in the gap, as it were, to protect their communities, their families. And we want to make sure we don't let any wolves into the pack, right?
Another good thing about the Oath Keepers, okay, you may not feel comfortable carrying a gun, and that's fine. A lot of people don't. Rock on. If that's not your forte, don't do it. But Oath Keepers can also come in and help you set up neighborhood watch programs where you can watch each other's back. And if you got a block that you live in and your neighbors and stuff, and that I'm your neighbor and I'm out of town, and you see a U-Haul pull up, well, that's probably not right. That somebody should not be there, and you can watch out for each other, that kind of thing. But like you said, you do want those folks that you can trust. And I promise you, I've only got probably 5 people that are real good close friends of mine that I know would have my back if something like that happened. I could call them and they would be there.
Right.
And I would like to say I had a lot more friends like that, but some people, I've seen them, and I've seen them shoot, and I've seen them with guns, and they're not the kind of person I would necessarily want right behind me. You know what I'm saying?
That's what the training's about. I mean, you got people who are new gun owners. If you don't learn how to carry a gun safely, a long gun is not drop safe. So if you guys have got Glocks and you can drop them and beat nails into boards and stuff with them, they won't go off. You drop an AR, it could go off. You drop a long gun, they can go off. They're not drop safe. So there's a lot of things that you don't know until you get training. And so it's important that you take the time and spend the money if you can. Like a Boris classes, Boris carbine class would be a great class, or
it is a good class.
Yeah. Or I mean, there's all kinds of programs all over the country. Find a good one and go to it. I think there's still a couple places left for the carbine class in Glasgow coming up. Maybe that's this coming weekend. But there's another carbine class come up there. I know that they posted that they're going back down to Red Hill Range to do a shotgun class.
Are they?
Defensive shotgun class, yeah. who was it posted that? One of the guys posted over there, I think this morning, that they're going back to Red Hill Range down there in Georgia, on the edge of that's close to North Carolina too.
It's right there in
South
South Carolina, like
Okay.
right close to Anderson, South
Yeah.
Carolina.
Yeah. So it's, I mean,
That's where you and I went.
Yeah. Yeah. That's where they used to have the.
That's where the machine gun shoot was.
Shoot. Yeah. The Iraqi veteran shoot.
Right.
Yeah. But it's a good range. Chris is a great guy that owns a range. Great people down there. So if that's something you want to learn as a defensive shotgun class, they've got that coming up soon. I think it'll be posted. But I'm just saying, get some training. Sit down with some people. Invite them over. Have burgers. Have some. I was looking here what Tim posted. Get together and find out. Who is it will be willing to stand with you to be able to protect and get the names, get their phone numbers or cell phone numbers, go meet your neighbors and things like that. So it's important that you get plugged in with your neighbors, get plugged in. I would talk to if you got a sheriff that's a cool guy, that's a level-headed patriot, go talk to him and say, hey, you got a sheriff's posse. Is that something that I could, maybe be a part of? And see if they've got that. And if the sheriff says, well, I don't know how to set that up, wherever, get his contact information and get it to Stuart. And Stuart will get in touch with him and help him get that set up.
That's like you said a while ago about Oath Keepers. That's one thing, a lot of people think Oath Keepers is just a militia group, and that's not what it is. They go in and actually talk to law enforcement, sheriff's departments. Right. They go to the state police and let them know. I mean, we were up in Virginia. They were in touch with Virginia State Police.
Yeah,
who were guarding up there, and they knew we were in the crowd with them.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, they always are trying to work with the local police. They don't want to be a standalone, separate group. They want to try to back up the police. They, as Oath Keepers, if you've had prior military experience, you would be a lot more preferred than I am as a civilian. But that's who they want. They want someone that's been there, done that, had to face down, something, had to pull a gun and shoot somebody. That's who they would like to have to come along and defend their communities and things like that. And so it's not that they want to there's no overthrow of the police. It's not a as the Hollywood people will say, a militia where they're going out to try to take over government. No, we're trying to support good government. We're not trying to overthrow or usurp the power. We're trying to come behind and support our local community police, be that local police department or sheriff's department, things like that. We want to defend our communities. That's what's about. And the Oath Keeper part is that if you were in the military, you took a pledge to uphold, defend the Constitution against all enemies, foreign and domestic. And that oath never dies. I mean, you take that oath for life. It's not an oath for just, this 2 years I served or this 5 years I served or whatever. You took an oath to defend your country.
That's right.
You should honor that oath until you no longer are capable. At some point, I mean, Doug and I are getting up there in the years. We're not going to be able to go out there and slinging guns forever. Somebody else has got to step up behind us and get trained and get information about how to do this and the organization of it to be able to defend your communities. It's not a paramilitary type thing. It's just a community thing that you're out there trying to defend your communities. You're trying to, support the businesses in your community because the infrastructure of your community is important. If you have businesses that go out of business because they come in, there's people losing their jobs. You have people burning out churches. That's a tremendous loss of resources, right? That has to be used to replace that. This is what's going on. They're going around, they're destroying things, and they're burning things. They're running businesses out. It's important that we make sure that we defend our friends, our families, our community members that aren't able to be there. You got a business owner that's got a business, and it's just him and his wife, and they're trying to sit in the store and try to make sure nobody comes in and robs them of everything and burns it to the ground. They spent their lives building. You don't want that in your community. You want to be able to stop that. And it's not, I'm not saying it's the easy thing.
No.
It requires time. It requires some resources. It requires a change in the way you think about things. That your situational awareness has to change. And you can learn some of that stuff on YouTube, but you're gonna need to get together and you're gonna need to go through some training and how to be safe. Because the most important thing is you don't want to create more harm by being untrained and running into a situation which you're not prepared for and being overrun or being killed. So,
And I can tell you too, you need to get that training for one reason. If for whatever reason you have to take that shot one day and you have to pull the trigger
right.
and you miss what you're shooting at and shoot an innocent person standing next to them or behind them or off to the side of them because you're not properly trained with your weapon that you're carrying, then that's on you. That's your fault, and
Right.
you need to be trained.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
a lot of people think. Yeah, a lot of people think. Sorry, but
No, you're fine.
a lot of people think that they can just go get their concealed carry permit, slap a gun on their side, and they're ready to rock and roll. And that ain't it. That's not the way it works. And you know that as well as I do.
Yeah.
And you need to get trigger time, and you need to be confident in your abilities for one.
Right.
That's what I was saying a while ago. Those 5 people that I trust with my life is I know that I have been around them a lot, and I know how they are. They know how I am, and I would feel comfortable. If I had to drop down and do a mag change and somebody was shooting around me, I would feel comfortable with that.
Yeah.
Because some of those classes teach you how to do that.
Right.
The book has the tactics class where, you're working in teams and you
Right.
got to get used to swinging a gun around a person beside you or in front of you because you never know when they may be out of ammo and they have to drop down and you take over on the side that they're on and you may
Right.
have to swing the gun around them. You got to be comfortable doing that.
And you gotta learn how to communicate while you're in the middle of that.
Exactly.
You gotta know how to say, "Hey, I need to reload. Somebody cover me," and then you get out of the way and go to the reload or drop down, do your reload, get back in. Okay, I'm ready. They go and they do their reload. These are all things that are not just something you can pick up off YouTube. And I'll tell you from firsthand experience that carbine class, learning how to clear jams, because you'll get jams when you're forced to run fast and switch mags and to drop mags and to switch out and to swing around targets, your gun's going to fail. You'll find out things about your weapons that you thought you had a golden, awesome weapon. You'll find out, oh man, my scope mounts came loose. Oh man, my dust cover is flapping in the wind. That's what happened to me. I found out that I had a problem with my safety. My safety got sticking and things. And these are things that you don't find out until you get pushed beyond what you would go out to the range and shoot paper targets. When you're having to move and shoot and get down the ground, get back up and do all these different things, you'll find out the failures of your weapon system. You'll find out the failures of your equipment, like your holster. You'll find out your holster is garbage. You should have got a Crossbreed. You'll find out, or another good holster. I'm not saying Crossbreed's the only one, but another good holster. You need something that's going to secure your weapon. You're going to need something that's going to not fail. Like you have a Walmart belt, and all of a sudden it breaks right in the middle of class because it's cheap Chinese garbage. And you need to have a good Crossbreed belt. These are the things that you find out when you put your gun and put yourself in stress, and you're having to breathe hard, and you're still having to try to shoot accurately under stress. And those things you can't learn off of YouTube. You can't learn that going out in your backyard shooting cans. You got to go. You got to be, have somebody put a timer on you, have somebody watching you train, looking for the things that you can do to improve yourself, to make you more proficient, make you less likely to have a failure in the field. If you have a failure, how to clear that failure, how to get that round out. You got a double feed. What do? You go to your pistol because you ain't got time to clear a double feed if you got people right in front of you, right? You transition to another weapon, changing mags without looking, and trying to find it, knowing your weapon system, how everything's packed on you. That's stuff that requires training. That's stuff that requires somebody that's been there, done that in the real world, in the real battle world, and can convey that information to you the way you can understand it and you can learn from it.
That's like my wife couldn't understand when I came back from that carbine class from Bulwarks. Every time I go through a door, my foot hit the side of the door facing and I slid in sideways. And she's like, "What are you doing?" I was like, just practice. Nothing.
Yeah, practice.
Just checking.
Yeah. That's like me.
But I tell you right now, though, you can't. A lot of people think range time is going to the range, boom, boom. Oh, did you see that one? That was a good one.
Yeah.
Boom, boom. Now, put yourself under a little bit of stress or a little bit of pressure,
Yeah.
moving or trying to hit multiple targets. Take the first one, then take the second one. Shooting one little paper target right out in front of you at 3 yards. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Congrats, you hit it.
Yeah.
But what can you do after that? What can you do if I'm shooting right next to you?
Yeah. Yeah. And are you standing flat-footed while you're shooting? You have to be moving. You want to be a moving target. It's harder to hit a moving target. And which way should you move? Well, that's what you learn in training. You learn to move towards cover, and you need to move towards the target and to finish them. It's a matter of
and shooting around targets.
Around obstacles. And
around
do you have a proper offset?
Or shooting through a door, or they teach you, and people don't get this that have never been to a training class. But how much of you is sticking around the edge of a barricade,
right?
So you can see the target, but how much of you can he see?
Right. Yeah. How far off? Stand off of cover. How far do you want to be away from that cover to take your shots? Things like that. The offset between your optic and your barrel. Is that round going to clear? Are you going to hit your barrier? You're going to shoot a brick right in front of your face and blow.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, do it under pressure but do it safely. I mean, you have a good safe place that you can work. A lot of gun ranges won't allow you to do 360 kind of stuff like that. There's very few that let you do a shoot house type of scenario, but you can do that with dry fire. You can learn how to maneuver and things like that with dry firing, and, take all the mags, all the stuff out, put empty mags in, and just learn how to go through the cycle. And just once you get the training, then you go back and do the practice. The training trains you how to practice, and then the practice is where you're going to get proficient.
You can practice clearing a room at your house.
Yeah.
Every time you want to go into the bedroom or the kitchen or something, clear that room, and try to stay proficient at it. You got, like you said, you got to be moving, and you got to remember too, you're moving and your target is probably moving too. So
yeah.
One of
the most important lessons I think I ever learned was situational awareness. I learned it from my dogs, because I was used to just shooting right out the door and heading out to the truck and stuff. And every time I let the dogs out, they go out and they stop and they listen.
Mm-hmm.
They smell and they look, and they lose all their senses. They look around, you'll hear them cocking their head and raising the ear up, and you'll see them sniff that nose in the air, and you'll see them sniff down the ground. And then they'll sit there for like 20 seconds. And I'm like, what are y'all doing? Go out there and go to the bathroom. They're making sure it's safe to go forward. I don't know if they're just chicken or if they're just really good, but they'll stop. And so I've gotten to the point where when I go out the door now, I'll stop before I go off the porch, before I get out in the open. Now look, anybody here? Look out in the field, and I'll listen to anything, go around. Because I've walked out in the past. I walked out and there's a UPS guy there, and startles you like, whoa, I didn't even see you. And so it's important that you learn situational awareness. It's funny that the dogs are the one that taught me to stop, pause, look, listen. I don't think my sense of smell is as good there. But if you can smell something that don't smell right, there's another thing. And it's just things like that, just things about how to deal in a world that we're not used to as civilians, or I'm not as I am a civilian. I have never had to deal with those kind of situations, and so I have to try to learn from people who have. And if you can learn from people who have, and you will be willing to listen and not tell them what you know, because they don't really care what you know. They want to tell you what they know. One of the best things that I can tell you about going to a class is don't show off your guns. And don't tell everybody all the Gucci stuff you have and how awesome it is, because it's going to fail on you in the class. your $1,500 gun or your $2,000 gun is not going to impress a guy that's been used to shooting a $500 Glock. It works every time. When you get in the class and your gun fails and then you start trying to work on it, you get somebody killed. When you go to class, close your mouth and listen.
Right.
Get all your money's worth out of it. Don't try to impress nobody because nobody really cares. Everybody's always focused on themselves anyway. Learn, listen, listen, listen. Take notes. If you're a person like me who's getting old, can't remember things, write it down, and then reread it later on when you'll think, "Whoa, I didn't remember writing that down, but I'm glad I did."
That's just like,
Go ahead.
well, I was going to say that's just like the carbine class I took with Bulwarks, with Eric and Jesse. You know, if you just watch them when they're teaching you how to do something, if you watch how they do it, don't just watch the shooter.
Mm-hmm.
If Eric's doing the class and he's fixing the fire and he's showing you what you should be doing coming back, watch what Jesse does standing behind him.
Mm-hmm.
You know, or if Jesse shoots and Eric's going to back him up, watch what Eric's doing. You know, because they work around each other all the time and they know each other.
Right.
And that's the same thing I'm talking about people in your circle. You need to be able to trust them. Just watch your instructors, you know, and not just Eric and Jesse. I mean, if you're taking a class with somebody else, I mean, watch those instructors too. Hopefully they're teaching you right.
Right. Yeah. I mean, there's lots of good training out there. Stephen posted up Revere's Riders. Our good buddy Kevin Fitzgerald up here in Kentucky puts on several classes a year, and that's marksmanship type training. So if you're an old guy that can't run a gun, that's going to be sitting on your porch or whatever, and you're going to shoot 400 yards, that's the kind of class for that. Teaches you how to shoot prone, teaches you how to shoot standing, kneeling, all the the things you need as a marksman. So you might be getting up to the years and your knees aren't going to allow you to go out there and patrol, but you can sit on Overwatch. If you got a good optic and you got a good trigger finger and you are a good shot, there's a place for you to serve. If you're doing nothing more than shuttling people around in car to places or going and defending, like the team members that are like actively in good shape and all that stuff, they go to confront the problem. You can go to their house and defend their family until they get back. You could sit there with your shotgun or your long rifle, whatever. Should somebody come while they're out to defend you could defend their family, right? And so, taking your kids and getting the same training, and taking your wife, and they're gonna poo-poo it. They're gonna say, "No, I don't want to," and it's uncomfortable. And they're like, "Well, how uncomfortable would it be when I have to go and defend the neighborhood, and you're at home by yourself? And who's going to defend you? You have to be my backup. You have to stand up and take the position to defend." And I've been trying to invest in my kids to learn how to shoot and how to defend themselves, and been trying to invest in them over the years. And so hopefully they'll take up the banner once I'm too old to do it and defend our communities and stuff. But same thing for you. Encourage your children, encourage your family members to get trained along with you. If you can all go together to class, get as far away from your wife or your spouse as you can so that you won't be trying to tell them or they won't be trying to tell you what to do. Let the instructor tell them what to do. You don't worry about what they're doing. You focus on what you're doing. You learn all you can about what you're doing. And then when you get back home and go practice together, you can learn from each other the things that you learned in the class. The worst thing that most men can do is try to teach your wife how to shoot, because you're going to make them nervous. You're going to make them think that they're not performing up to what you expect them to do. They're going to be antsy. They're going to be worried they're going to do something wrong and embarrass you. Don't even go to class with them if you're that kind of person.
Well, I can tell you right here in Warner Robins, the police department does a class that you can sign up for, and it's ladies only. No guys allowed other than instructors. No husbands, no boyfriends, nobody telling you, "Oh, you need to shoot like this, shoot like that." It's just ladies only, and you can sign up for it. It takes a couple weeks, and they just have a couple night classes, and they shoot, and then a couple more classes, and they shoot again, get proficient, But you can't necessarily teach your wife, and if you got bad habits, you don't want to teach her bad habits.
Right.
And dudes are the hardest ones to teach because they've got bad habits. I've got bad habits. I know I do.
Guys our age are the most dangerous people that haven't had formal training. Our guys our age with Gucci guns are the most dangerous people to have on the range. I'll tell you, because you've got all these bad habits you developed over the years, packing a gun around the farm or slapping a gun on, and you think you know everything, and you start trying to impress the instructors, and you're like, why are you even here? Because you're not listening. You're not learning. Uh, we don't care that you bought this or that and that you have all these guns. You came here to learn, and so you need to shut your mouth. I'm just telling you, I have to tell myself that when I go, I have a way I like to shoot, and then I see someone else do it differently. I'm like, but then I have to sit there and say, shut up, Troy. Listen to what they're teaching you. Get all the nuggets out of it. It may not work for you, but you need to sit there and be quiet and learn all you can learn because you pay good money and you're spending good money on ammunition to be there, and you're spending your time, which is very valuable the older you get. Learn all you can learn and then apply that into your practice and start incorporating that into things. But Oath Keepers does come in, trains communities. If you got a group of guys, say you got 10 guys together and say, hey, man, we need some help. I don't know how far spread they are, depending on what resources they have in your state or your local area. They can have guys come in and help you train. Right now, they're working a lot again with the sheriff's departments to make posses and things like that. But you're going to need to be prepared because the communists are either they're afraid and it's on like death throes that communism is going away, that Trump's swaying enough people, or enough people have had enough of politicians and bureaucrats, or they're going full bore. And the biggest thing that we got going for us is most of these are little basement dwellers that are being led around by some real hardcore communists. And so when the first bullet starts whizzing, I think that most of them are going to head for the hills. But you don't know. You got these kids that grew up playing all these video games, thinks they're ninjas and can slaughter everybody, drinking Red Bulls and stuff. I don't know what's going through their minds. I don't know what's going to happen. I mean, we just have to be as prepared as we can be.
That's
and
right.
we just have to be alert. And we're rambling on, and I'm got off topic. Anything else you want to talk about this subject before we head on over to the armed citizen and wrap this thing up tonight?
No, we're good.
I think we beat it pretty good. That we've had Stuart on a couple different occasions. If you've not heard Stuart, you can go back and search our archives. We've had Stuart on before. He is really spread thin, so I'm not trying to push a lot of stuff on him. But get up and get in contact with your local states, and then try to find local counties, groups, and get together. And let me tell you, there's going to be some real buttholes. They're going to be part of this group. There's going to be some people that you don't want anything to do with. And I understand. And I've dealt with different groups. Everybody that I've had to deal with, a lot of them everybody wants to be in charge. You're going to have to submit to someone's authority and leadership. Unless you're like the most trained guy there, you're going to have to work out who's going to be in charge, and you can rotate that as you guys get proficient and things like that. Somebody's got to be a leader, and somebody else has got to be a follower. Somebody else has to give commands, somebody else has to follow. And you need to try to get the people together that you will trust, and you don't worry about them behind you with a gun. And train together and dry fire as much as you can before you go live fire, until you got everything down. Everybody feels comfortable. Everybody's got good finger discipline off the trigger. Guns are always pointed in a safety circle. All these things that you learn in the training until it's time to do the work. And so that's just my encouragement, that you're going to find people you don't like. That happens in every church. It happens in every meeting you're in. It happens in every classroom you're in. There are people that are jerks, and they're just going to be jerks, and you might be the jerk. But learn how to give in to your will, to desire to run everything, or to be judgmental. Learn what you can, try to cooperate together. It's a hard thing. I find that to be the biggest problem in Oath Keepers and in like 3% groups and things. You've got a lot of guys that are gung-ho, but are really need to be stepping back and listening and learning, and then be brought up. There's a reason the military has their command structure the way they do. They tear you all the way down the ground until you don't have any confidence about anything, and then they build you back the way they want you. Us old hard-headed guys that never did do that have a hard time submitting to somebody else's command. It's something you're going to have to be able to deal with in order to learn what you need to learn. And people are going to put you off, and you're going to be upset. But hey, learn what you can learn from them. Get your group together. Get your group squared away. Be safe, and learn how to take care of yourselves, take care of your communities.
And I can tell you right now, you go to a training class, be prepared to get your feelings hurt.
Oh yeah,
because you probably will, because you're going to be doing something that you don't even think about here.
Yeah,
that you're so used to doing that's wrong.
Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with getting your feelings hurt. You have to be. Sometimes you have to be set straight. Some things that you might be doing could get someone killed, and you don't even realize it. You're not thinking about it. You haven't experienced what these guys have experienced, and so therefore you don't know what could happen by the way you're doing something with a bad habit. And I've had to have, I've been embarrassed about every class because I was doing something stupid or something wrong that I didn't know until I knew. Right? If you don't know, you can't change it. But once you know it, then you change it. And Jesse and Eric and the guys, they're not going to try to embarrass you, but they're going to set you straight. As soon as you do something that's dangerous, they're going, hey, whoa, wait, they're going to jerk you out and cease fire, and everybody's going to clear, because they got to keep everybody safe, right? And you see a bad habit, they're going to try to catch it before it happens. They're going to watch you, and they're going to watch you really close, and that's what you're paying for. You're paying for them to watch, see what your skills are, what you need to work on. And I have Eric constantly, tapping me on the shoulder. Hey, do it this way. No, do it this way. No, don't do it like that. Do it like okay, now do it wrong again. No, it's because I'm hard headed and I mess up. But just an encouragement for you guys: suck it up, be men. If someone yells at you, get over it and act like a real man. Defend your community, defend your family, defend your nation, right? And so that's our encouragement for you. All right. Who's that? Yep. John's over here. Hey.
John's going to bed.
All right. Good night, John. Sorry. You can catch the rest of it tomorrow.
There you go.
We're rambling on tonight. We're wrap this puppy up, put a bow on. Let's see. We got lots of comments over here. All right. So a couple of reminders about our sponsors. We've already talked about Oath Keepers to beat that to death. Not going to talk about that. We can go ahead and talk. You go ahead and talk about Crossbreed, Doug, and then we'll get into Armed Citizen of the Week.
All right. So Crossbreed Holsters, heard me talk about it a while ago. You've heard me talk about it in the show. Troy and I both carrying the Crossbreeds. They just make a great holster. And let's be honest, if you have a holster that's uncomfortable, you're not going to wear it. And if you're not wearing it, you're not carrying your gun. And if you're not carrying your gun, you can't guarantee you're not safe. So make sure you get a comfortable holster, and Crossbreed can fit that bill for you. Go check our buddies out at crossbreedholsters.com. Use our promo code G&G and get a 10% discount on something that you like just for listening to the show and using our promo code. Also, Axelson Tactical. They are a high precision tack driving rifles. They make custom rifles, long guns for if you're distant shooters. They make them for that. Customized pistols, knives. They got all kinds of stuff over there. High quality stuff, great stuff. Troy and I both have Axelson rifles, and you've heard us talk about them plenty of times. But go check them out. When you find something, which I know you will, use our promo code God and Guns. Get a 10% discount over there just for listening to us. Also, PowerTac lights, you already heard talk about those guys. PowerTac.com. Use a 40 or discount or promo code God and Guns. Get that 40% discount, and they actually help us out by sending us a little love toward the show also. And Palmetto State Armory. If you're building a gun, looking for parts, you need this, you need that, you want to change your buttstock, whatever, Palmetto State carries just about everything you could need or want if they have it in stock, because people are buying it up quick. So you better be watching. But use our affiliate link and go check those guys out. Palmetto State. It's palmettostate.com.
Deal. Armed Citizen of the Week. What we got?
Our Citizen of the Week this week comes to us from Houston, Texas. And this was June 29th from ABC 13 out of Houston. A corner store clerk in Houston, Texas, defended himself against an armed robber late on Monday night, June 22nd, after the man fired on him. The clerk was alone in the store around 10 p.m. that evening when the suspect walked in. The robber first attempted to pass a counterfeit $20 bill to the clerk, who told him that it was not good. The suspect then drew his gun and fired one round at the clerk with no effect. Fearing for his life, the clerk drew his own gun and returned fire, striking the assailant. Following the shooting, police arrived at the scene and transported the wounded robber to the area hospital, where he was later pronounced dead. So, good guy with a gun.
Good deal. Well, I see we're over there streaming on Oathkeepers TV and Oathkeepers main page, so looks like we're doing good. We had got some things set up over there earlier today with the help of some great people over at Strike, and so I was just checking over there trying to see the comments. We can't always see the comments if you guys are commenting over there on that site, so So, yeah, we got quite a few comments over there. So we will try to get to you guys here after a while. All right, so we're going to wrap this show up tonight. Send your feedback to Troy at GodandGunsPodcast.com or
Doug at GodandGunsPodcast.com.
Please tell your friends about us. Leave us an iTunes review. Like us on Facebook at Facebook.com/God and Guns Podcast. You can subscribe to us and follow us on YouTube. You can follow us over on Twitter. I don't do much over there anymore because I pretty much just wrote that off. I've gone to Parler. So you can find us over on Parler as well. Instagram, we got an Instagram account. You can find us over there, post things from time to time. And we are on MeWe as a fail-safe should we get killed off of all of the other socialist media sites. So, Doug, until next time, have a blessed week.
And keep your guns close, but keep your Bible closer.
All right, guys. Thanks for joining in with us, and we appreciate you hanging out with us, and we will talk to you guys soon. I'll be back on for the prayer and devotional in the morning, and hope to see some of you guys over there. And if not, we'll talk to you next week on our show. Adios.
Good night, everybody.
Find my way back out of here. Let's see.